Welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm your host, Dr. James JC Cooley. And wow, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I do. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Dr. Michelle Cooley and I are still in Texas, and we really enjoying Texas. However, it's get hot here. In case you're not know, it get real hot here. But today is one of those mild days so far where it's not that hot. But before we even start the show, I like to reach out and wish one of my marketing, my producers who's uh, is in ill today. He's ill in the hospital. Soji, man, we're thinking about you, man, and hopefully that you're feeling better and that everything is going to work out. We're praying for you, brother. Just know that you in our hearts right now, and wishing you get well soon, real soon. You're very important to our team, and our team, I'm talking about our expanded team and family. So wishing you get well wishes. I cannot start the show without talking to first to the executive producer and also the co-host, Dr. Michelle Denise Cooley. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, James. How are you?
I I am doing just fine. Doing just fine. How your day going so far?
It's going good. I got up early to work. Like 6:30 in the morning. Actually the day's going fine. Worked out early in the afternoon, and working out always energizes me. And I'm doing great. I'm really excited about the show today. We're recapping previous shows this year. So we're really excited to talk about, the guests we've had on the show, the topics they were discussing, the feedback we received, and the education and the knowledge that we and the audience have gained based on their appearance on the show.
It's we. I believe that we have had some absolutely magnificent guests all year long, and we still got a lot of magnificent guests scheduled to come on real soon. And I know some of you are out there listening. I know that you could potentially be an magnificent guest as well. And we open up the door. I mean, it all depends on what we're talking about, how much value you bring. If you want to be a part of the show one of these days, reach out to Dr. Michelle Cooley, and she'll give you the information on how to do that. And we'll look at your resume and we'll look at all of these things, and maybe we'll invite you to the show. So, Michelle, can you tell our viewers and our listeners what the purpose of the show, title of the show? I know you said a little bit about that a second
Mhm.
ago, and let's dive into this.
Well, yeah, the topic of today's show is a recap of It's Your Life with Dr. James Cooley, our previous shows and previous guests. We're going to talk about the topics they discuss, the subject matters, the feedback we received from the public, and also finally the direction where we're taking the show. So we're really excited, and let's get to it.
So wherever you're watching this at, whether you watch it on E360 television, whether you watch it on YouTube, whether you're watching it over 35 other live streaming platforms, it's more than that now because the radio just added some more podcasts. KCBQ, just added more podcasts. So, I got to give them a shout out as well. And, so wherever you're watching it, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments and just ask any questions that you might have. And I promise you, we'll get you on screen and we'll get you an answer to your question. So I'm
Yes.
turning it back over to you, Dr. Cooley. Go ahead on, take it away.
Thank you, James. So, the first topic we're going to discuss is your newly released book, A Black Man's Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul. And, we kicked that off last week. And a little the week before, we had, of course, you were discussing the book, and we had the contributing authors who came on the show as well as with you, and some book reviewers who brought their review to the book that's actually in the book. And we talked about, and I guess I'm going to summarize. Well, why did you write this book, James? Why did you write this book? And what is this book about? And what did you learn from the contributing authors, not only the ones who were able to appear on the show, but also just all 11 of them?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna tell you that the book debuted on the 6th of June, not knowingly at the time. We debuted number one release that day, number one best-selling authors that day, and we was number one through all of that day. Uh, and that was so exciting to see that people was going out and buying the book. Now, you asked a question, Michelle, about why did I write this book? I initially wrote this book because, as I said, I was asked to be a part of the Heart of a Black Man. That was originated by Dr. Talisha Barry. And as I wrote my portion, I think she gave us 1,000 words, maybe 1,500. I could not adequately tell was in the heart of a black man, but I knew what was in the heart of this black man. So knowing what's in my heart, as I was writing the book, I identified a lot of things as I was writing my portion, and I said, I, I need about 8 9 chapters. So what I did was I wrote my piece, and then I continued to write. Next thing you know, I had 3 chapters. About a week later, I had my 12 chapters, and I was still writing. And I turned it into my publisher, and he like, wow. He said, "You got something here." But then he said, "Hey, well, why don't you? We know what's in your heart now, but you said you don't know what's in the hearts of other black men." And so I reached out to uh, actually 15 people that I thought I knew fairly well that've been on the show or just in meeting,
Mhm.
and asked them to contribute their portion, not telling them what I had written or any of those things. And each one of them delivered a different piece of the puzzle based on what was in their heart. And I got all of these things. We looked at it, and we chose about 11. We chose 11, and we submitted that to Cola Books. At the time, that was the publisher. And Cola put all of these things together and said, "Hey, you guys got something real big here. It's going to be a bestseller." I said,
Wow.
I said, okay, okay, all right. That's what you're saying. It's just going to be a bestseller. So basically, we wrote this book saying what's everybody came from a different environment, different era, whatever that might have been.
Mhm.
So their experiences are different than everyone else, but the result comes up to the same as what's in a black man point of view is your point of view. A black man point of view is your point of view based on your upbringing, based on the trials and tribulations that occurred, based on the past, your ancestors, your forefathers, your foremothers, and everything makes you the person that you are. I thought it was so important that we share this message with the world so that they would know that regardless of where you start from, doesn't mean necessarily that's where you're gonna that's where you're gonna end, and that you got purpose. And this is some examples of 12 black men that I believe everyone is doing extremely well. That we chose to be in the book, and that you can do the same thing.
Wow. Yes, definitely. That was an amazing, guest lineup last week and the day the book launched. So we're really excited about, being the number one newly released bestseller on Amazon. And we are just, excited about the book and where the book is going to lead and how it can enlighten the readers as well.
But
So,
there's a couple other things that we need. We need people to that purchase a book or didn't purchase a book to go out and purchase it. It's probably going to be 99 cents for about another 5 or 6 days. Then it
mhm,
goes back up to 7.49 or 7.99. I don't know what that price is. But you also got the a soft copy is out. You also got the hard copy, and it's the book is. I know we only talked about Amazon, but the
mhm.
book is on every platform. Barnes and Nobles, Half Price Books, or anywhere where books are sold, you can get the book. And we need our reviews, book reviews.
Mhm.
Uh, Go online, Amazon, and do a book review. All 5 stars. That's what we ask. I mean, but be honest with that. But we need, truthfully, honestly, we need for you to go on uh, Amazon Kindle and write a book review, just a paragraph or something like that, and post
Yes.
it. Yes.
Yes, most definitely. So let's segue to the guests that we've had on the show this year so far. And one of our honorary guests, he might as well be, a third host of this show, Dr. Michael Mantel. Oh my gosh, he is such a wonderful human being. He's a great friend. He's a great mentor to us. And he has appeared on our show, I forgot how many times. So he has discussed various topics. So a couple of topics he's discussed was prioritizing your mental health, life space of healthcare professionals, and ageism. So when he discussed prioritizing your mental health, you know, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to do a lot of self care. I mean, the world is beautiful, but there are also challenges, and we always have to take care of ourselves, spiritually, mentally, physically. That all goes hand in hand with mental health. And also, seeking help when you feel like you're not able to function because maybe your mental health, it may be compromised. And so the I'd say the takeaway to that show was, make sure and also be there for somebody or a family friend, loved one when they're experiencing their mental health challenges. No judgment, no, oh, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to tough it out and stuff like that. That's not very helpful. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to that. And what is your thoughts on that, James?
First of all, Dr. Mantel is an incredible um,
Mhm.
man, mentor, leader. I mean, and hard to go. When I tell you that this man, when you're talking to him, you can tell it's like that when you're talking to anybody. He's going to be factual, he's going to be upfront, and he's going to tell you how it is. And as it relates to mental health, he's been working in that field for over 50 years and probably the best in the business because it's a certain way that I believe that you have to relate to a person, and one shoe don't fit all. You know, that the programs that a lot of people have out there that's going by the book does not relate to everyone. Dr. Mantel, in my opinion, uh, understands that each of the things, each person is different, and you have to tailor certain questions and certain answers and to get certain type of results for the person to truly understand um, how this is going to benefit them.
Yes, most definitely. And he also discussed um, health life space of healthcare professionals. About healthcare professionals, they are stressed, and most of them are overworked, and they need to take care of themselves as well, because in order for them to take care of their patients, they have to be right. They have to have mental clarity. They have to have a lot of self-care as well. So we discussed that with Dr. Michael Mantel, and he also discussed the topic of ageism, and that was an eye opener. I mean, there's age discrimination across the board when it comes to healthcare as well. For example, if someone is experiencing issues, and sometimes if they go to their physician, sometimes the healthcare professional might chalk it up, oh, you're getting older, it's arthritis, blah blah blah. And that's kind of like, it's kind of discrimination against someone because of their age. So he did talk about that. So what feedback do you think we've gotten from that, James?
Well, I tell you, we got to take a station break right now, and I'll hold on to that question, and I tell you, we'll address it when we get back. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to wherever you're watching this at or listening to it. Ask Michelle or I any question that you like, and I promise we'll get you an answer. It's your life. I'm Dr. James JC Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. And again, I want to wish my marketing and producer, Sobi, get well soon. Bro, I can tell that you miss. I can tell right now that we missing your presence, man. And get well. If there's anything that Dr. Michelle and I can do, all you'll do is just let us know. Just let us know. So I just want to bring up one other thing, Michelle. This book, A Black Man Point of View. You were talking about Dr. Mantel. A lot of things that he does and that he and I talk about or just chat about, and gave me an understanding to reconnect with myself and really find out what was in my heart. And so I'm talking about from the mental health perspective, from all of the things that he does, for as human rights and speaking and just just helping people out. that has a profound effect on it did on myself, and I'm sure on the patients that he deal with. So we love Dr. Mantel. We love everything about it.
Oh, we most definitely do. So let's talk about some other guests we've had on the show. Dr. Pearl Pierce. Oh my goodness, he's been on the show a couple of times, and he had a powerful topic to talk about: serving in prison ministry. Wow. I mean, he really broke it down, James, about, first of all, you may have the heart to serve in a prison ministry, but it is not for everybody. He discussed the realities when you do serve in a prison ministry, just how it might emotionally affect you, and just like I said, it's not for everybody. So I'm gonna let you kind of discuss this a little bit more in detail. What did you learn from that show from Dr. Pierce regarding serving in a prison ministry, James?
First of all, Doctor Doctor Pierce, I don't know if you're watching or not, but I sent you the link if you want to click in here. But Dr. Pierce had a brief or prison stop himself, and so therefore, when you've been in that environment and you understand that environment, and you come out out of that environment, you already know what it's going to require to deter people from going there, but you also know what it requires to help people get out and transition back on the right path. Dr. Pierce is such a wonderful, wonderful man, and a good friend of mine, at least. I mean, we love him. And It just the honesty, integrity, and ethics that he brings, just the passion of and the desires that he have for caring for everybody, and he showed that during the. I think he's been on about 3, 4 times, and we got to get him back on again.
Most
But
definitely.
it's just the delivery, the understanding, the renewing of a new attitude. Uh, this man is truly a shepherd of God, and we are just so happy that he was on the show to share uh, his experiences and how he is transforming others to understand that just because you might have messed up here does not mean that you got to stay in a messed up situation, and that's how he put it. Just because you're messed up here, so it's
So
it's,
what
it's
what did you learn from what he talked about serving in the prison ministry?
well, I learned that you can always give back. You can always go back there and be a major influence in helping others, especially the young that's in there that potentially are going to be paroling out and doing other things. That you have to start teaching them the ropes immediately and get them focused on coming back in society, whether that's taking college classes during the time that you're there, whether it's that just refocusing or reaching out, bringing the Lord or your higher power in your life. I learned all of those things from having him on the show and talking about these things. Again, he's an incredible, incredible man.
And you know what? Who was incredible? And I'm going to add her to the show, Miss Ruth Ann Thorne. Oh my goodness, she's been on our show
Hi
twice.
guys,
And
how are
How
you?
you,
hello,
how
Ruth
you
Ann.
doing?
I'm
And
doing great. I thought I'd pop in because I love hearing what you have to say.
oh,
Both of you uplift me so much every day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're recapping our shows so far for 2023, and we're talking about a plethora of guests, and you are one of our amazing guests. And Ruth Ann, she spoke about preserving the culture of the Native American, and she discussed her new art gallery in the Gaslamp District in downtown San Diego. And Ruth Ann, we're going to give you the floor. Can you kind of tell the audience exactly what you spoke about regarding preserving the Native American culture and your art gallery?
Absolutely. Well, I just think that it's really important for people to understand the rich history of this country. And that begins with the indigenous people that have been here for 23,000 years documented. And I feel that unfortunately, we have fake news that's being taught in our school systems um, from forever. And it really doesn't tell the story of the people who lived on this land before the colonies arrived. I think as Native people, we aren't, everybody who's here isn't responsible for that. But what we're trying to ask is that we would just set the record straight and tell the true story of the people because we are still here. There's a remnant of us. You know, there were 100 million Native people here in the 1600s. That's a third of the amount of people that are currently living on this northern continent. And so we face the largest genocide that the world has ever seen in the last 200 years. And now there's a few of us left. Most of us are mixed blood. There's very few what we call FBI, full-blooded Indians. But we want to preserve our culture and tell our stories because the truth is that we're looking at possibly a extinction in the next 150 years because our bloodline has diminished so much that the few that are still here that we remember our grandparents telling us stories, we just want to make sure that that is preserved for the world to know about.
Wow, that most definitely. I mean, regardless, it's always important to know where you came from and your history. That's very important for everybody to know. So, Ruth Ann, we thank. Tell the audience about your art gallery in the Gaslamp District.
Thank you. I opened up a gallery on Fifth Avenue in the Gaslamp, and it's been very well received. So busy. And Gaslamp, I think, is turning into New Orleans, just for those of you who haven't been down there. I'm starting to feel like we're there on Royal Street, where all the galleries are in New Orleans. But it's been fantastic. And we have a really wonderful different diversity within our collection. So we have some San Diego-based artists, some Native American artists, some African American artists. So we're bringing in a lot of culture into the Gaslamp in San Diego. So, and what's interesting is the building that we're in is the first store that ever came into the Gaslamp in the 1800s.
You know, Ruth, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners not only about the art gallery, but the story the documentary that you already put together, and the television, and all of these things that this tells and shows the history of the indigenous folks, and how the world need to understand that it's some great things going out there, and you are behind a lot of these efforts.
Well, I appreciate you giving me that little commercial plug because I am very passionate about it. So the name of the show is This is Indian Country. And that's what we refer to amongst tribes when we talk about our lands. And primarily we're talking about the reservations because those are our sovereign land that we still hold so that we can keep our culture intact. But really the entire North America is Indian country. So it starts at the top of Washington State, and we traveled all the way down to my neck of the woods here in San Diego. And we interviewed some of the most interesting people, all from Native heritage. So some of the people we interviewed inside the cities, which I call urban Indians, and then we went to the neighboring reservations and we interviewed the people there. But what they all had in common was simply that they were creators. They were taking, everything that they had as far as talent, and they were pouring it back into the community through art, music, dance. We had tattoo artists, culinary artists, and some of these folks were, just won the James Beard Award for Best Restaurant in the United States. I interviewed Kawana Rose Chasing Horse, who is the top model right now. She's one of the 3 top models in the world as an Indigenous young woman. And so there's a lot of interesting talent there. But I think really what we're showing is there has not been one Native person that I've met who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And everyone has reeled from this almost like abject poverty, but also from generational trauma. But what I found amazing and inspirational is that none of these people were hanging on to their past in the sense of being victimized. Everyone was looking at it as an opportunity to kind of flex their Indigenous muscle to overcome and do above and beyond what anybody could possibly think. And so to me, that's inspirational, whether you're a Native person or not, for all of us, because we all face challenges.
Yes, yes. You know what, Ruth Ann, we want to thank you for, like I said, we're recapping our guests for this year so far. And like you were just one of our favorite guests. And another one of our favorite guests, Stacey Bullock, she's going to be coming on once we take this break. So I'm going to go back to you, James. Thank you,
Wow.
Ruth Ann.
Hey, Ruth, you got a standard invitation to the show. I tell you that all the time. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. So want to thank you for all the great things that you're doing out there and that you're continuing to do. And we love you. We love you, Ruth Ann.
And likewise, and I just want to thank you both for being the highlight of the day. I have you on YouTube, and I recommend everybody, put that at the top of your list. Make sure you'll just start off your day with everything you need. Bye, guys.
Thank you. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Stacey. But we're going to take a station break right here. And if you want to be part of this conversation, and I send a few links out there to some folks. And if you want to come on and tell your story, just go ahead and click on it, and we'll get you on. You'll get a chance to tell your portion. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James JC Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, I'm tickled pink because every time I get an opportunity to talk to our next guest, I mean, it's just so exciting. You know, in the period of time that I have known this young lady, I have learned so much from her, and most importantly, wow, to speak. She's a woman of God. I'm talking about truly a woman of God. So talented. She got, I mean, she can draw, can paint, can sing, can I don't know what she can't do. Best-selling author, TV talk show host, uh, evangelist. I mean, and probably about 37 other things. you know, you know. But most importantly, she's my friend. So hey, how you doing, Stacy? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm so glad to see you and Dr. Michelle Cooley. I just happened to peep over at my email. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I have to join in.
Oh, you got to. I was hoping that you was gonna do. I was chatting with you last week when the book and all that stuff had come out, and I did not know how to check these things. I did not. You already knew how to do it, so I chatted with you the next day on the ranking. You showed me how to do that. I think the next day we was number 9.
Mhm.
Not knowing the day before that, I was number 1 the whole day, and was the number 1 release. If you wouldn't have showed me how to do that, and cause my producer said, "Hey, no, what?" Publicist, no, you number 1, and I did not even know it. I knew the next day I was number 9,
Mhm.
and they explained it to me that every day 40,000 books are going to be released, something like that. But we still hanging in the top 100. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's incredible. So, thanks for teaching me all of these things. But um,
Goodness.
I wanted one of our viewers and our listeners to know that you've been on the show, I think, 4 times, maybe long minute more than that. But you
It-
always bring so much uh, vision, understanding, and focus, and knowledge that's going to help everybody out. And you started this show called Tools for Everyday Living, which is
yes.
so powerful, so powerful. Can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about uh, the shows that you've been on this year? I think you've been 4, and why you created Tools for Everyday Living.
Absolutely. So, our initial interaction started out with my bookmarking.
Uh-huh.
It was my 4th book. And I was invited to come on the show to talk about the book. And then we just started to unravel, this relationship, this family now. I consider you all my new extended family. And so we talked about some very interesting things. We talked about resilience, the power of it. We talked about everything kind of probably centers around resilience for the most part. I think we had a show topic. Oh my goodness, Dr. Cooley, I'm like, my brain is like, yeah, what did we talk about? But like I said, most of it is really centered around resilience. We really centered around bouncing back from life's challenges because we all going to have them. We are not exempt from a few things in life, and challenges is one of them. And so, we have to have tools to understand how do I bounce back from this situation with the least amount of damage. We talked about in our resilience conversation that architects and engineers, they put in their design a, I don't know what to call it, a substance that's called resilience. And so when earthquakes happen or the tornadoes or different things like that that bring destruction and sometimes complete destruction, just takes it away completely. But if the proper resilience has been put into the design, the building itself is able to withstand and not crumble to a complete default. And I take that as our human bodies and mindsets, that if we allow ourselves to sometimes push the resilience through, then we can get by with the least amount of damage, the least amount of um, I'll call it backtracking, because sometimes life, when it sends us stuff, it could send us backwards. But if we allow the power of resilience to come through, I tell you, I'm going to guarantee you 100% that we will not suffer too much damage. We'll be able to move forward, move through it. And so that's why I created tools for everyday living, so that we will have what I call in our human toolbox, what we need on a daily basis to continue to thrive, to continue to function effectively. Because there's a lot of folks out there functioning, but is it effective? Are they joyous in what they do? Do they go to sleep at night feeling like, I got some things accomplished today? I'm not going to bed thinking that I did nothing, and then in turn, that'll start to make you feel like nothing.
So tools for everyday living. One of the things that you talk about, until my prior to that, is I always remember the story when you were saying, you're looking in the mirror, the person in the mirror, and a lot of times we can make that reflection look like whatever we want to in our head. But when you truly open up your mind, truly accept, you have to be able to see what the reflection as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, they need to jump in that toolbox and start changing things. So
exactly.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that? I mean, I just love that story every time you tell it.
Well, I'm going to add to that story because it just popped in my head. I remember it was post-pandemic, the height of it. And I walked past the mirror and I backed up. I said, a negative thought came to my mind. But because of the tools that I have been practicing, and that's what we have to do. We have to practice this thing. It's not overnight, no. So because of the tools that I've been practicing, I was able to change my own thought pattern. I was able to change the words that I was getting ready to say. And something you just said just now, that we're the only ones that have the control to change us, whether it be inside or outside. And when we change from the inside, I believe that God is the orchestrator of changing our heart. But we still have to, like you said, we still have to accept that we want to make this change. And when I walked past that mirror, I said, oh, I saw things that I had, that weren't there prior to me sitting at home every day, basically not doing nothing but being in the house, not exercising the way I was. You get into that, I need that comfort food. I need something that's going to make me feel good. So go out and get the milkshakes, we'll get everything delivered. Everything will show right up at your door. French fries, but nobody, I always say to people, nobody's going to hold your hand and tell you no. They're not gonna pop your hand and say no. Don't make that call. Don't punch in those numbers. Don't order that food. We have to have the discipline to not do it. And one of your favorite words is commitment. We have to commit to ourselves that, you know what, I'm gonna do what's best for me, and not take on this persona of, when I do look in the mirror and I see this person that I'm telling myself that I am, but truthfully and honestly, that you have a problem with French fries. And you have to be able to tell yourself the truth. That's the first thing. Tell yourself the truth.
I think you have to be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, you cannot be honest with anybody else. So, Stacey, real quickly, your show, I think a month now, close to a month.
Yes, close to a month. I started May 19th.
So, how are you? Are you enjoying it, or is it? I mean, I see it's growing. Because I try to watch all of it. Just tell our audience a little bit about your show, what time it come on, and how they can click in and watch it.
Sure. Thank you so much. It comes on 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday, Tools for Everyday Living. You are able to view it via YouTube at Tools for Everyday Living. Oh, go to E360 TV at that time, and you'll see the live getting ready to, whatever shows get ready to come on next, just go on there at 4 p.m. or stay on there a little longer, or get on there a little earlier. Get on there at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and watch It's Your Life. You know, and stay on. Just leave the TV on all day. Watching E360 TV. So yeah, we are having a wonderful time. We've had some awesome guests, and like you said, you know, I'm there's that mind again. We have to switch that mindset, because I'm thinking, oh well, maybe in the beginning it's not going to do this or it's not going to do that. We've had four shows, and we're over 6,000 views. Almost over 7,000 right now.
And it's going to continue to grow, because you got a wonderful, wonderful show. So I encourage everyone, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Fridays. That's just right now, Fridays. I'm trying to get her talking to 2 days, but right now we'll settle for Friday. Go on and watch it. YouTube, E360, and Tools for Everyday Living. Stace, I always love to have you on. You know, you come on my show anytime. You know that. You know, so hey, Stace, I need an online Amazon review from you. I know you're already in the book, but we need to encourage others to go on there and do the same thing.
I will do that today, and I saw that yesterday. The email. Let me tell you, I went to 4 events this weekend. And I realized that I am not 25 anymore. So it took its toll. When I got home yesterday, I said, oh, I need to go lay down. I hadn't even sat in my TV room the whole weekend. It's unusual. But I sat in that recliner, and you know what happened next, right?
Oh,
I woke up, and it was almost time to start all over again.
Well, you got to take care. You got to rest the body. Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I tell you again, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Friday, Tools for Everyday Living. You know, we're going to take a station break. But when we come back, we're going to pick it up again. And we're just going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to talk about this. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any questions. Or if I sent you the link, all you have to do is click on it. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James JC Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just had that discussion with Stacy. She is so wonderful, and I just love having her on this show. It's just bring joy and happiness to anybody that's watching. That Holy Spirit, when it comes to Stacy, it just veer over and rub off, So Michelle, I'm having fun with this, and we're gonna have to do this again because
Oh
we're
my
not
goodness.
we're not even gonna get past 5
What?
these shows
Well,
that I want to talk about. We had about 15 on here.
yeah, we got a couple of mentions so we can kind of go over, time permitting. So let's talk about, we had this guest on a show named Ginger Gentile. And she had a film, and she does this about parental alienation, bringing families together. And it was so powerful, this film. She talked about how parents are separated from their children. It could be anything from divorce or something going on with either parent where the child feels, caught in the middle. They feel like the parents that they're alienated from, that they're believing stories about that parent. And she had an amazing film out there, and she really gave us an eye opener. And her goal is to bring families with their children together who were alienated. And we also had this amazing show with Captain Herman, retired Captain Dr. Herman Archibald, when he talked about from military to ministry. Do you want to talk about that, James?
Well, first of all, let's go back to Ginger,
Mhm.
because her show was so powerful, and I have watched it happen myself, been a part of it, where a parent, just because you divorce or separate, you still got to be parents to your children, and you might not like each other that much, but the kids love both parents. And just because you had a problem with your wife or your husband, your ex-husband, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to brainwash. I call it brainwash. Try to brainwash the kid into thinking that that person is really, really bad, and you should not want to
Mhm.
have anything to do with that. That it's nothing personal with the kid. The kid is if you put the right thing in, they're gonna love you regardless, unconditionally. And when one of the parents try to dominate, because that parent, you living with that parent, like, Don't talk to your dad. He's no good. He's this, or the mother. Don't talk to her." That is so wrong, because
Yes, it's definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong. And, Ginger talks a lot about it. She interviews a lot of parents as well as their children. And there was success stories where she got the parent together with the children, and an amazing film. And we have, of course, retired Captain Dr. Herman Archibald, which talks about from military to ministry. Do you want to kind of go over that, James?
absolutely. I've been knowing Captain Dr. Archibald for probably about 38 years. He and I served together ever since we was, I would say, just a little bit older than teenagers in the Navy. This guy is so incredible. Just watching him grow and just working together, learning from him. He's kind of like my brother. It was just so incredible, just being, um, in his presence, learning, and he learning from me as well. And to watch his career just blossom and grow, and that transition. He made it to '06, a flag officer almost, but decided to transition from the military back to civilian life. A lot of times, most people don't know that's a very difficult thing to do sometimes if you have not mentally prepared, and thought things out in advance. But Captain Archibald made that transition uh, back. It took a little time, but if you got if you got a plan, you already know kind of sort of what you're going to do when you make that transition and how that transition is going to go. So this is Captain Archibald is one of those individuals, rare individuals that you ever going to meet in life that is so caring and accountable and loves everybody.
Oh my gosh, yes, he is an amazing man. And you know what? Like I said, we had like a lot of people on this list to talk about our previous guests, but we need like a part 2 show. Maybe it'll come next month or so. But you know,
I said we do part 2 because we're out of time. We're out of time right now.
Most definitely part 2. But we have definitely learned a lot from these guests and continue to learn a lot. Our eyes are open about things that we might have heard about, but really didn't really know that much. But we were excited for them to share their story to encourage, inspire, and motivate people.
Yes, and I tell you, but next month we're going to do part 2 of this, and we're going to continue to do a recap. But and we're out of time right now. One of the things I want you all to do is a Black Man Point of View, Mind, Body, and Soul, #1 release, #1 bestseller. It's still the ebook is at 99 cents, and that's going to be for a few more days. Go out and get that book, 99 cents, read it, provide a book review, get in touch with us, and potentially come on the show and talk about it. You know, so I like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another brilliant show. And most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for taking the time to tune into the show. Miss Diamond, we did not forget about you. We just didn't get to it this time. We didn't get to it this time. Next time we will. And you're going to have to pop in on the show. I tell you, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James JC Cooley. See you.